Okay, everybody, welcome back to part 3. Don't know how long part 3 is going to be. 1 and 2 went by really quick. Tearing things up has been a gift all my life. But I'm going to start out with the stuff that I'm, I guess, the most concerned with, and this was the front covers. I believe that this paint, these letters are on the back. I think you can probably see that. I think they were put on, painted on, whatever, and then painted black over that, and then it's just a clear piece. Now, this is a real soft plastic, and I'd like to try to get that tape off, but I'm afraid the black's going to come off. And if you can see right there, you can see through that. Since I've got this pink towel behind it, you can see there's some places that the black is missing, and I think I may just try a black marker, but I think I need to clean that tape off so that I can just try the black marker there and see how that works. But the other thing I did, and my biggest concern, was scratching this. So what I did is I started with this Novus Fine Scratch Remover number 2, and I took a little, and you can see I haven't done, I put a little bit on there in the corner, and I rubbed it for less than 30 seconds, and if you look and see, I think it's going to do a pretty good job. So I'm going to proceed with caution with this. But oh, by the way, I got a new light. I thought I was going blind, which I am, and I can't hear, but I bought a Horrible Freight 4-foot LED light. It was like a $20, 5,000 lumens, and hung it up, and it's a whole lot better than the fluorescent I had. So let me clean on this a little bit, and I'll come back and show you what I've done. Okay, I went over it once. That looks a whole lot better. I don't know if you can see or not, but apparently it's got some overspray on it. Maybe you can see it. I can get an angle on it where you can see it. There you go. I think you can see the overspray. I'm hoping to get that off, but that really is nice. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to, just as an experiment, you see that dot right there? I'll do it on camera. Well, I'll just do it right now. You get a marker and see if we can make this go away. Yeah, doesn't look like it's dark enough. May have to get some. Yeah, it may not have had enough ink on it. I think a little bit more touch up, we be okay. I think that's going to do okay. I think it's going to cover up most of it anyway. Okay, I've shined it up. I'm still going to put the Novus 1, which is a plastic clean and shine, on it a little later, probably before I put it on. As you can see, that particular place, I think I made it go away halfway. You can see, I can see it, but I know it's there. What I did is I took and had to clean out the tape residue there, and I tried marker at first, just wasn't enough, so I took a little spray paint, sprayed it in a little plastic cup, and then kind of painted it on there. So I'm going to let that dry for a while, and start working on the other one. This one's got a pretty good scratch in it right there. I'm not sure I can do a whole lot with that. That's pretty deep. I don't have number 3 Novus, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use the number 1, which is a clean and shine, and see if that'll take some of this off. This is apparently this is some overspray from somewhere. I'm not really sure what it is, but if it'll clean up as good as that other one, I'll be happy. I just hit it lightly, put a shine on it for sure, but it still didn't clean it up. I'm going to go do it the same process as the other. Now this is what differentiates this from the R100, is this different colored bar on the K for Knight. So let me start a little elbow grease going. I got to be real careful on, I don't want to break this, and I've got a long surface here, so I'm going to straighten this towel up a little bit more and see if it even it out a little bit. Okay, I've gone over this with that number 2 Novus, and you can see it's kind of looking halfway decent. It's got a scratch here and a scratch here, and I'm not going to be able to get that, I don't think, with the number 2. But here's the deal. This one right here is covered by the knob, and this one right here, the majority of it. I've got some number 3 ordered, and I might be able to get this, make this less noticeable, and if I do, that'll be a good deal. Okie dokie. I'm gonna try to clean on their chassis a little bit. I started with this one, and pretty much what I did is I took some 4/0 steel wool and some Brasso and went over that and cleaned it up a little bit. I'm not going to clean under the underside. It's clean and it doesn't have to be shiny or anything like that. Really, this one doesn't even have to be shiny, but just wanted to clean it up, make sure it was clean. So now I'm going to start doing this one, work on this rust a little bit, and then clean this up. Okay, this little spot here, I put some navel jelly on. It was that was where I think the rat had went to do his work. And then the rest of this is I brushed on this product called Rust Mort. It's rust conversion. Basically, it's phosphoric acid and to neutralize the rust. And it was just pitting somewhat, not really bad. It's already done a whole lot to it already, so I'm going to wipe that off and see if I can clean it somewhat. Of course, I'll need to neutralize the acid. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to run some water on it, and should be good. But I'm going to wait until the navel jelly, which is phosphoric acid also, I believe, it's doing the same thing. So if you've ever used navel jelly, you got to keep it moist, and I like to keep wiggling it around a little bit, so especially in these places it's got quite a bit. I'm about out of navel jelly. I went to buy some the other day and then couldn't find any, so that's the reason I'm using the Rust Mort. It's an automotive product, but you can find it local box stores. I'm going to apply some more on that. So we'll let that set, then we'll neutralize it, and then we'll go from there. Okay, let me go back and correct myself, and I apologize for the fan. I am using a new camera that I've gotten today, and it doesn't have an external microphone, it's an internal microphone. So my air conditioner is picking up I misspoke. I said that I was using that rust mort, which was phosphoric acid. It's actually phosphoric acid. The naval jelly is phosphoric acid and sulfuric acid in a gel form. Just wanted to clarify that. So you got to be careful with this stuff. It will eat your lunch. Okay, here's what I've done. I've neutralized the acid with naval jelly and this rust mort. I took a Brasso, went over it, and then I did the finishing touches with the Novus 2. Got the back cleaned up pretty good. I've got the ends and the front to do, but you know, nobody's really going to see this. It's a matter of make sure it's not going to rust anymore and that we start with a good clean chassis. Started working on the cabinet itself. Not going to be that concerned with the inside because it's mainly a rust prevention deal, but started working on the outside. Got a little bit more paint to get off there, and then do some rust treatments on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it with a gray primer, and then maybe sand that down with some fine grit sandpaper to get some of the bumps out of it, smooth it out, and then go back and paint it with another gray, like a battleship gray or so. Okay, this is the bottom. I've cleaned it up, and first coat of primer. I will paint the bottom. The reason I did this, I just couldn't clean it up. It was so rusty on one end. So anyway, primed the cabinet itself. Neutralized all the rust, and we'll go back with a glossier gray than that, but that color is not bad, I don't think. I've taken the filter cap off of the printed circuit board, and you can see it's a dual capacitor, 20 microfarads at 250 volts, and I have gotten some 22s at 250 volts, which are radial mounts that should fit right in that can. So what I plan on doing is taking a Dremel and try my best to cut that just as smooth as I can, and pulling that out and restuffing that. And the reason is, I guess I could mount it underneath the printed circuit board, but I got the capacitors, I've got a good can, so I think that's what I'll do. I've cut that, not very straight, but I'm going to have to pull it apart, and where that is large, or where the lip is, I'm going to either grind that down or what have you, so that this part will slide down into that. So we'll see how that works. There, that's apart now. That's got tar in it. I have to try to get that out. I'll probably try to put that in the freezer and see if I can't break that out. Of course, this, we'll have to just cut that off and drill. Well, there's some holes already there, the triangle and the square. We can just bring those leads up there, and hopefully we may have to make a bigger hole in the board. Don't know, but we'll work around it. Okay, here's the deal. smoothed that off. I took this and I took and cut that smooth around the edge, and then I removed this piece of phenolic, and in between that phenolic and that phenolic is a piece of spongy gooey rubber, which I removed. Now I have room. Of course, I'm going to have to probably straighten this out a little bit, clean this out, but this should slide back down inside there and be able to glue it. Of course, I'll need to make sure it's straight on there when I do, but I can dress that up a little bit, and you know, you can probably tell if somebody's been in it, but it'll still look, there won't be anything hanging on the bottom of the board. Okay, I haven't got these, I've just got the ground tacked on to that grounding lug there, and then I put some heat shrink just to keep the leads separate. I don't think there's going to be an issue, and then I'm just kind of dry fitting it on the PC board before I put the cap on it, like this, and then we'll do the glue. That's what it's probably going to look like. What I'm hoping to do is, I'm going to try to check these in circuit, but if it becomes impossible, I may have to take and lift one of the legs up. I really don't want to desolder these no more than I have to, because it is an old printed circuit board, and printed circuit boards are meant to be soldered once, maybe a repair. But looking at this, I'm looking at the technique that the guy may have used, and I can see, for instance, right here, that may not be that good of a connection there. And some of these others, I mean, it works. Apparently it worked, but look at that particular one right there. I guess, you know, as long as it's bent over there and soldered to the trace, I guess it's okay. And I'm used to the holes being filled up myself, so anyway, I'm gonna test these components. When I get to the coils, I'm definitely not gonna mess with those. Just check for continuity and be done with it, and then replace the resistors as needed on this one. Of course, the capacitors. Already going to replace these. There's actually two here. Done rebuilt that, and then replace those, and then hopefully we won't have to change many of these resistors. I've gone through the board and I've replaced quite a few resistors. I think 9 resistors and a total of 5 capacitors, and I've got some more ordered. These tubular capacitors, I've got those ordered. They sent me the wrong thing, so I've got some more in the mail. Checks in the mail. But the resistors, anything that was within 10%, I left. The board, I had some damage removing some of the capacitors, and had to like make the leads extra long and make a jumper, because the foil's coming up on these. And that was one of my fears. But I touched up a few other places here and there, and so we'll see if we can put it all back together and make it work. Okay, here's where we're at. I've cleaned and lubed the tuning condensers and the band spread. Waiting on a couple of these capacitors here. Should be in the mail probably tomorrow or so. Gone through this board and replaced all the resistors that were 10% or greater out. I've got to clean a few more parts up, but I'll clean some of them up as I go back. So I think this is going to end part 3, and then in part 4 we will start looking at the assembly process. And of course the board's already assembled, and so it'll be a little quicker, and it'll be mainly just putting the components back together. But we'll go by that by the manual. So that's going to do it for now. So from Larry from the hills of Tennessee, thanks for watching.